Hey, what's up, everyone? It's NitReg here from nitreg.com, and today I'm going to be playing a 4NL session, full ring, of course. This is on the Merge Network, more specifically Black Chip Poker. If you're curious and want to try to deposit some money, check out nitreg.com/BCP, and that will give you all sorts of rake back and bonus deals and all sorts of good stuff, so check that out. Just going to be playing a session here today, just going over the basics. I c-bet here with pocket fives just because I just kind of want to take down the hand now. He goes ahead and calls, and I'm just going to completely give up now. Hopefully he just had like king 10 or something, but he leads out, so I'm just going to fold. So pretty much this game is, the strategy is going to be pretty simple and straightforward. What I'm going to be doing mostly is just playing strong hands, a pretty tight range. I'm going to steal when it's appropriate, and the majority of my money is going to come from just hitting a good top pair of hands and getting value and like set mining and stuff like that. Let's go ahead and fold threes there. Pretty much flipping with every hand, best case scenario. Here we go, got 6 tables up now. I want to do some more micro stakes videos. I had a student today who was asking if I could go ahead and make a 4NL video, as I hadn't made one in a while. I made one on grinderschool.com, I want to say about a week ago or so, and it went pretty well. I liked it a lot, but mostly on Grinder School I'm making 25 and 15L videos. So here, I just have an overpair heads ups, and it's a very wet board, so I'm just going to go ahead and just be bombing down against this guy. You have all sorts of hands on this board, like pairs plus draws and stuff. So I'm just going to bomb down and get some value. Then here with kings, of course, we're just going to go ahead and press the pot button and just get as much money in pre-flop as possible for value. The guy's tanking here in this hand when I have 10, so let's see what develops. He calls and the 8 comes off on the river, and to be honest, the 8 really sucks because a lot of his hands are going to be 2 pair or a straight. So I'm actually just going to check here and completely give up. He snap checks back, so he has ace high, so LOL. It's kind of typical of these limits. Here with kings, normally I'll just c-bet decent size and try to get it all in by the river, but here the board is so wet that I'm just going to bomb it big. And no one really flops flushes. I mean, it's so hard to flop a flush. There's like less than 1% of the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and bomb it pretty huge here, because I think he's going to call with a wide range. Then my intentions on the turn were just to c-bet and get it all in. But to get his entire stack in, I would have had to overbet. So I didn't think that was that good of a play to overbet, as it might scare him a little bit. So I just decided to bet 2/3 pot and then call it off if he jams. I wouldn't be too happy if he jammed, because at the best he's going to have some equity, and at the worst I have 0 equity. But I think his hand range is wide enough here. I mean, people with these limits just will call with anything in position. Like you saw, the one guy called down with ace high or something. So I mean, on a monotone board, there could be all sorts of flush draws and random pairs and stuff. So just kind of hoped he didn't flop a flush miraculously, or if he didn't flop like a set, 2 pair, or have an 8. So I'm doing pretty well so far, up over 25 big blinds. This is an interesting hand here. Got aces versus queens versus 10s. 9-10 offsuit actually picked up equity. I don't know why that hand was in the hand. Here's another thing that I do a lot at 4NL especially, is just isolate all day. Basically, we're going to take a pretty strong hands in position, and when we're in position, like on the button or cutoff, and just go ahead and open it, just because we're going to get heads up a lot, and I happen to hit a really good hand here, so I'm just going to start bombing it and try to get all this money in by the river. But, if not, I'll just go ahead and, if I don't flop anything, I'll just go ahead and c-bet good boards and as a bluff, and take it down quite a bit. Or I can flop like top pair or middle pair and bet for value. It's kind of hard to get a grasp of what hands are good or not, to be ISO raising and squeezing and three betting and flatting and all sorts of stuff. So what I did was I actually went ahead and made a bunch of hand charts for you guys. If you want to go to nitreg.com, I have a free online e-course called Beat the Micros in 2012. If you guys want to go ahead and download that, it's very helpful for newer players, intermediate players, and some players that have been around the block that still play the micro stakes. So check that out if you haven't already. It's gotten good reviews. Just as a reminder, if you guys are having trouble seeing this, go ahead and click the high definition button. It's on the lower right on YouTube. That will make it so you can see all the stats and everything as good as possible and be able to follow a little bit better with what I'm saying. Here I limped with sixes just because the first guy limped, and I figure it's going to be situations kind of like this where it's going to be a giant multi-way pot where I can try to flop a set. So I go ahead and call, and I hit bottom set like a champ. This guy goes ahead and overbets, shoves all in, so hopefully the other guy calls and I can just rejam with my bottom set. Ace 10 here on the top right. I'm just going to go ahead and c-bet for value. Call with 8s. It's kind of the bottom of my range here. I feel like I can get well against this guy out of position. So the guy with kings completely whiffs his open-ended straight draw, and I win. That's pretty much what you do with set mining. I mean, of course, the one guy that was set mining, he, let me see here. I'm going to go for some value. Yeah, the one guy that I was set mining, he didn't have that much money to set mine, but there's so many other people in the pot that it's profitable to call there. And with the 8s, I went ahead and peeled the flop just because, this guy's going to c-bet this flop all day since it's so dry. He's not going to have a 6 or a queen that often, so I figure a lot of his range is just going to be air. He goes ahead and barrels the turn half pot, which is kind of weird. I mean, maybe some people do this sometimes with, like, pocket pairs and ace high and stuff, but I'm just going to give it up. My hand isn't that strong. It's basically just kind of looking him up on the flop to make sure he's not just c-bet bluffing me. So I figure most people are just going to bet once and give up. I don't really put people on being able to barrel like that. So pretty good sessions so far. Got some good hands, been holding up. This guy in the table number 4, the bottom left table, keeps opening it up huge. So it's just going to be a matter of time. He did that with pocket 8s, it looked like, so it's only a matter of time until I take all of his money. Just go ahead and fold, fold, fold. I'm just going to be a giant nit. That's what the nit regs do. I open with king queen offsuit here in the bottom middle table. It's reasonable to go ahead and c-bet half pot here. I mean, it sucks because if he shoves, like, I just have to fold, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna fold now. But I think I'll get him to fold out some ace high hands every now and again. I mean, it sucks because he's so short stack, he might just call it off anyway. But I don't know. I feel like it's profitable enough. Like, if you read my ebook, it only has to work 33% of the time as a pure bluff to work. So 10-7 offsuit just sucks, even though I can probably outplay this guy. I think that's one of those things is people overvalue how good they are. I mean, even if you're a solid winning player, you're not good enough to play like 7 deuce offsuit against randoms. Like, that doesn't make sense. Here this guy goes ahead and opens at pot, or 4x, I mean. I'm actually just going to call here. So I feel like if I flop an ace or a queen, I can get a lot of value off of him. I don't want to 3-bet and get flatted and have to be bluffing into a guy that's never going to fold. So he checks his flop. So that kind of leads me to believe that his hand isn't actually that strong. And I actually reverse straight, which there's a decent chance that he might have one as well, but I got to lead out for value. This guy opens huge, and that's actually a different guy that was opening huge on this table. I'm just going to fold Queen 10 suited. Pocket 6 is here. I'm just going to go ahead and steal. This guy's kind of nitty. Ace 9 offsuit. I'm in the cutoffs. That's an open. Of course, I flop top set like a champ. I'm actually going to go for a check raise here just because I have this pretty crushed. I feel like if I check this flop, people love to bet all the time. And now I'm just going to go ahead and check raise pretty big and then get all my money in. No reason to give him any more free cards. And he actually had a pretty big hand. I'm surprised he didn't just get it all in on the flop. He had 2 overs and a flush draw. So, of course, with the aces here, I'm in the big blind. I just pop it up huge to get as much money as possible. And these guys don't have very much money behind, so I'm just going to be c-betting and getting it all in. I can't fold at this point, even though this board kind of sucks a little bit. King Queen here four-handed is a pretty strong hand, so I'm going to go ahead and call, even though he's under the gun. Now with aces, I'm just going to get it all in. If he has 2 pair, then I have a gut shot at least, but he ends up folding, so who knows what he had. He might have had, like, I don't know, middle pair plus a gut shot or something. These players don't like to fold, so. Here this guy leads out on a 7-high board. I have king high, so I just fold. Pretty simple. And you don't have to do anything too fancy on this these limits at this site. You know, you just basically play your cards, and as long as you can identify like stack to pot ratios and when you're committed to your hand, and you know, just set money and just basic things like that, you can make a pretty decent amount of money. I mean, I've been here for 13 minutes and I'm already up like $7. Last session I played for Grinder School. You can check that out at nitreg.com/gs. But basically, I played for like an hour and made 14 or 15 bucks. I mean, it's pretty simple. To be honest, I could probably make over minimum wage just playing 4-0. It's just kind of funny if you think about it. But you know, there's a ton of money to be made. All you have to do is basically just play tight and play solid, and you'll make money. And you don't even have to be that good of a player. So, you know, I kind of go over everything you basically need to know to beat these limits on my ebook at nitreg.com. So check that out if you haven't. I mean, especially if you're not winning at these limits, I think there's just some fundamental concepts that are actually pretty deep. But as long as the sooner you know them, the more you're going to crush faster. So there might even be people that are playing like 25-0 that don't fully comprehend some of these concepts, and yeah, it's just one of those things. Here I am in position, but the guy that raised is kind of short stacked, and my hand doesn't flop that well. You know, even if I do flop a draw, it's not to the nuts. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold it here. That's all. That whole hand is an implied odds problem, and yeah, I'm just simply not getting the implied odds to call there, so I just fold. Talking to this student on Skype now that told us I would make this 4-0 video for. Let me inform him that I'm making it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. I kind of took a little break with nitreg.com in terms of post frequency, and that had to do a lot with school, and also I kind of wanted to make more of a backbone structure for my site. I wanted to make, you know, of course I wanted to finish that ebook, which I actually just finished like a week or two ago, actually about a week ago. You know, people float all the time, so I'm actually just going to check here. I mean, queen high might be good, and I don't feel like I'm going to get folds that often. I'm just going to fold here. But yeah, you know, I wanted to make the ebook. I wanted to make, you know, a bunch of core posts that have a lot of value and go over a lot of the fundamentals, because, you know, I don't want to be posting about, like, you know, cold 4-bet bluffing when, you know, people don't even know the basic concepts of 3-bet bluffing or basic 4-bet bluffing, you know, just kind of stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of cover all the fundamentals. And I'm still kind of in the process of doing that, but I've gotten a huge chunk done. So now I want to start focus more on content. So this is actually my first video back doing that. If you guys haven't known already, I have a Twitch TV account, which is basically streaming live. I go ahead and stream live all my poker sessions. Not all my poker sessions, but a lot of my poker sessions, so you guys can watch in. And I put it on a 2-minute delay just so people don't exploit me at the tables. But you can check that out. There's links at nitreg.com, but go to twitch.tv/nitreg-poker, all one word, and you'll be able to watch that there. And it's pretty cool. A bunch of people join in, and we just watch me hopefully crushing. Sometimes I don't win, but usually, especially if I'm playing like 4-0 or something, it's pretty much winning. But I'll play up to like 50-0 online. Like if I go any higher than that, then there'll probably be some people that might be able to exploit how I play, or at least be able to watch me take notes or figure out how I play certain hands or whatever. If you guys notice there, I raised out of the blinds just for value. Here at the Queen 8, it's good enough to steal. I'm not really a heads up guy, so don't take my word on everything I say, but I think I'm proficient enough to beat it at the micro limits. So here, top pair, top kicker on a wet board. I'm just going to go ahead and see about 3/4 pot. I'm just going to fold third pair here with Queen 8. Seems a little weak, but it's kind of hard to like be ahead there, especially when he has the threat of barreling twice. So this guy calls. I'm just going to go ahead and barrel again pretty strong. I mean, if he has like Queen 10 or something, he's probably just going to like checkman raise his turn. So just go ahead and barrel there. And that Jack of Hearts actually really sucks. I'm not really beating anything except for like Queen 7 or something. So I'm actually just going to give up here. Yeah, and he ended up sucking out on me. I mean, there's just so many combinations of hands that either hit a straight or a 2-pair or a flush there. It's very hard to think of hands that I actually beat on that river. This guy limped in, and I have a gut shot, so I'm just going to go ahead and lead out on a dry board because I feel like he'll fold enough of the time. I feel like fold equity plus my actual equity in the hand is good enough to go ahead and lead out there for a profit. Again, if you guys don't know that concept, check out my ebook because I kind of go over that. It's not just your typical like, this is how to count pot odds or anything. It's not like that. I have stuff that you might be able to find on the internet, but it's kind of deep in there, and I kind of want to give you guys a really solid mathematics and strategy and overall game plan for beating the micro stakes. And I feel like it came out pretty well, and the reviews that I've been getting back so far have told me that it's pretty good and pretty helpful for their game. So this bottom middle table, this guy keeps opening it up 4x heads up, which I'm not a heads up expert like I said, but I know is pretty bad. So I'm going to continue just playing tight because that's probably the best way to exploit him. On a 9-4-4 rainbow flop, I'm going to see bet ace high. It's just kind of a bluff, I guess. Just I probably have the best hand, but I kind of just want him to fold out any potentially better hands. And this guy leads out here on the top right table. I'm just going to fold, and ace 8, I'm just going to give up. Hopefully ace high is good, which it is. The 9's here. The jack actually comes out on the turn, which is really good because that means that there's a lot less combos at jack X. And on a wet board, he's going to go ahead and check raise a jack X type hand. He's never going to like slow play the turn again unless he has like an absolute monster. So I go ahead and barrel my second pair for value. And if he calls, I know for sure, or not for sure, but I know that there's a very strong chance that I'm ahead on the river, so I can go for value again on dry boards. Also, I can kind of dictate things. I can check back river if the board comes ugly or whatever. But basically, it's all value oriented at this limit. And also, if he folds, then I just flat out win, which is great for me. Here I have bottom pair with the deuce 8 and a limp pot, so I'm just going to go ahead and check it down, and hopefully the deuce is good. I mean, why lead out? Makes no sense. This guy have 3-bets. This is his first time 3-betting. I'm just going to go ahead and fold here. I mean, if I know for sure he had just aces and kings there, then I would call, but I don't, so I don't think I quite have the implied odds. He seemed pretty loose and spazzy at first, but now he seems to be tightening up a little bit. Maybe he just plays kind of tight and opens at 4x no matter what he has. I'm going to keep try stealing because he keeps folding a decent amount, it seems like. Last time he called with king high, so hopefully he folds here if I see bet the jack 4 offsuit. If I see him continue to call down or do stuff like that, like check raise, then I'm probably going to cool down with my c-bet bluffs. Here, this guy is short stack, so speculative hands like 7-9 suited aren't very good. I'm just going to go ahead and fold. Basically, in this bottom middle table, this type of guy, I just need to flop a hand and own him. It's just one of those type of guys. Here on the jack 4-3 board, I'm actually going to c-bet 6s for value. I think I can definitely get called by worse hands. Flush draws, ace highs, 4x, 3x type hands. For some reason, this guy's stats don't seem to be updating here. I guess when I double click on it, his stats update, so. He's actually folded to 2 3-bets. I'm going to try 3-bet bluffing him here. I mean, it's 4-L heads up against some random fish, so that sounds actually really atrocious when I say it, but just given his stats, I think he seems to be the type that's doing that. Flop a gut shot here. I'm going to go ahead and c-bet it just because I have 6 high, and hopefully he can fold something, anything decent. I mean, not decent, but like if he has jack high or something. But anyway, that combined with my actual equity, I think it could be profitable, but this guy doesn't seem like he's folding the c-bet, so I'm just going to check here and hope to hit something. I'll go ahead and steal here, and this guy min raises. I'm just going to call him. This guy seems pretty spazzy and bad, so when he gives me that good of a price, I think I got to call and try to suck out of him. So he goes ahead and checks and just gave me the nuts. He's snap checked, so I don't know what that means. Let's see. I'm actually going to bet pretty big here because I think if he's slow playing a big hand, he's not going to fold. And if he ends up hitting a 6, he's probably not going to fold that either. And I'm not too afraid if he shoves because I don't really think he's going to have a flush all that often just because he would have probably c-bet the flop with a flush draw. And sure enough, he just had, you know, the sucker end of the straight. So, I mean, that just comes down to hand reading, and that's hard to do, especially, you know, when you're a little newer and stuff, and you're getting used to all these tables and getting used to what to do. But, you know, I have all the basics down in my head, so it comes down to me just analyzing the hand and what I think his hand is going to be. And, you know, people just don't check back the, you know, flush draws that often. So when he checks the flop, I'm pretty confident that when I hit the nut straight, my nut straight is good on a 3 flush board, or a 3 flush river, I should say. It looks like this this guy on this table goes ahead and quits, so go ahead and close it out. Maybe I can find another table for you guys. No. So yeah, I mean, I'm up like $10 now, so it's been 25 minutes. I mean, I definitely think I'm running good. Oh, I shouldn't say running good. I'm not running bad. I kind of coolered that guy when I flopped the nut straight when he flopped, you know, back end terrible straight. But I mean, it's pretty much just playing straightforward and being able to have basic hand reading and being able to just kind of identify what spots are good to raise, what spots are good to fold, and not playing crap speculative hands out of position and just stuff like that. It's kind of basic and it's very formulaic, I should say. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I basically just follow the formula that I outlined in my ebook, and it's super simple from there. It's kind of hard not to make money. There's some spots where you can make more or less money depending on how good you can hand read and stuff, like that last hand that we played with a 10 jack right the straight. But you know, overall, as long as you just play this, it doesn't really matter how good or how bad you are. You can probably make money at these limits. So I have second pair, so I check back the flop, and he checks again. So I'm gonna go ahead and bet the turn here. It's pretty wet, and my hand's probably ahead, so this is definitely for value. And he just gives up. So. Here are pocket nines. I'm just going to go ahead and pot it. Hopefully this short stack guy just sticks his entire stack in. I can get a heads up with dead money, pocket nines. It's definitely the top of my range against the short stack dudes, so I'm definitely getting an all in heads up against one of them. Here this guy has close to a full stack, so I'm just going to call sixes in position, try to set mine. I actually flop an overpair, which is kind of funny. So I have pocket sixes. I mean, it's kind of hard for that to happen, but he c-bets pot. I'll call once. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this. So he has to be like kind of just bluffing with overcards here. With the nines, I'm going to c-bet half pot, which is a little weird. It's more just to take down the pot. There are some hands I can get value from, but it's just such a dry board. I don't want to check back and give him outs for free when he has like ace 10 or whatever. So this guy goes ahead and barrels pot again. I'm actually just gonna fold even though I pick up a gut shot. Like this guy's basically repping an overpair. He could have like a 5 and be overvaluing it, but I think the chances are he probably has a decently big hand here. Yeah, I don't mind calling the turn so much as I don't mind, or like I don't really like calling the river. And I know if he's just like potting down, he's probably not going to just check the river with all of his hands, including bluffs as well. So I'll just give that to him. It's not a big deal. I didn't put that much money in. And again, I get 3-bet. I'm just going to go ahead and fold this guy. It's only been one hand against him, and he hasn't 3-bet yet. Here we're heads up, and I'm just going to c-bet 2/3 pot on this fairly dry board with Jack Queen. So hopefully I get his ace high to folds, and his king has. Here with the ace jack, it's four-handed, so my hand is pretty well, especially against fish. So I'll call here. We don't flop anything, so just check fold. Simple enough. Yeah, let me go ahead and add another table here. Seems like I'm at all the tables that are up right now. It's 2:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, so there's not too many tables going. Let me try introducing some 10 and L tables, see if that helps. So again, doing pretty well so far. Is following a very basic strategy. Just being able to hand read decently and being able to extract a lot of money and being able to avoid losing a lot of money really helps. But more or less, why I'm winning right now is just has to do with my strategy and how I'm approaching the game. So, highly recommend that people consider playing the strategy that I implement. King Jack suited looks nice, but it's not really that nice, especially to a guy that only raises 4% of hands. It's not over a big sample size, but I'm just gonna have to give it to him. There's so many hands that he could have that just have me crushed. Even when I do hit the flop. So, and even if I hit the flop well, he might have something like pocket nines on like a king jack board, so he's just gonna check fold. Jack 4 suited, got a free flop, but this flop kind of sucks. I'm just gonna go ahead and check down. Jack high might be good here. Doubt it, but there's a chance. Yeah, he's queen high. I mean, I think bluffing is kind of bad there. I didn't really put any money in, so I don't know. You don't have to get too crazy there. And people that like to limp, I've kind of found don't like to fold to one bet. So, they're the type of players that like to see, one or two streets and then, give up when they don't improve. Kind of like live players or whatever. I recommend folding King Jack suited, but I'm in beast mode right now, so I'll open it. This is definitely a fold, but whatever. He goes ahead and shoves. This is definitely a fold, but it's not. It's kind of close. It's a little closer than many people might think, just because I'm getting a decent price. I have to call 67, win 95. So for the video, I'm going to go ahead and call it 67 cents. That's like a big blind for me. So we're in pretty good shape here, and I end up flopping really well. Queen or spade. So I had a million outs, and I faded all of them, but that's fine. Here with King Jack, this guy dunked small and called, so yeah, it's pretty standard with top pairs to bet big there. He goes ahead and donks again. I'm actually just going to go ahead and stick them all in here. Oops. Something happened and I was typing it and it didn't fully go, so I put it in $1 instead of $1.40, and he ends up calling again, which is funny. And then now let's see if he can call off the 40 cents here. The aces, or sorry, the ace X hand, he called with like king high. It's pretty hilarious. The queen's hand on the ace X flop, I didn't see that because I have second pair and it's a little harder to get value. So I went ahead and checked one, and then he checked back. So I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have an ace. So now I'm just going to go ahead and bet for value, and he just folds. Here I've got aces, so I can just open it up pot. I mean, obviously it's kind of exploitable if I just pot all my huge hands pre-flop, but these guys don't pay attention to. I mean, everyone's just a random 4L guy, so you can open it up big with your big hands and open up small with your small hands, and no one's going to notice. And even if someone like miraculously somehow notices, or you could even tell them that that's what your strategy is, and they still won't be able to play that well against you, just because overall they're not that good a player. But everyone just goes ahead and folds there, so they showed me. So yeah, I mean, that last hand, I was just value betting top pair, and I got called down with king high. I mean, he obviously had an open and a straight draw and overcards, so his hand was decently strong on the flop and turn, but he played it pretty terribly. And then on the river, he, I mean, I know it was a really small bet, but he literally beats nothing, so he should just go ahead and check folds, and he doesn't, so he just lost with, yeah, he just lost with king high. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bummed. I really wanted that straight flush draw to hit. Oh, excuse me, my throat got a little dry. But yeah, I mean, that's a negative EV call for sure with that one all in with a short stack. But King Jack plays decently against his range there, and I was getting worse than 2-1, but not by that much. So Here, 7-8 suited is not a good hand to isolate really, but I can limp, so I'm going to be in position. I can probably, stab at pots that people just kind of give up on, and I can flop decently as well, and play my hand pretty straightforward. Also, something like this happens, and every one of them other calls I can consider calling and have really good relative position. I will only get one other caller. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and fold 8 high. Sucks because like this is probably the better flop that I can get right here, and I'd have to just keep like check calling down with a flush draw, which flush draws obviously don't have that much equity, have a little over 30%, like 35, 36%. So just check calling down for a flush draw, then start pumping in tons of money when the flush comes in out of position. It's pretty transparent, and it's not as profitable as a lot of people think. 9-10 isn't good enough to go ahead and isolate there. There's an argument for or it's just multi-way. There's an argument for like limping there, just to see a free flop, but I still think that the hand isn't that strong, and I just go ahead and fold, especially when the limpers are short stacked. So I go ahead and isolate here. The ace-3 offsuit, its heads up, and I feel like ace high can do pretty well. And I'm just gonna go ahead and c-bet. The board is fairly dry, so hopefully I can just get him off of just any hand. I think c-betting works quite a bit on dry boards, especially at these limits. I ended up picking up a gut shot, but it doesn't really change the board that much, so I'm just going to check and try to get my free card. Hopefully a 4, and it's a king instead. But if someone calls a flop, they're probably not calling in the river. Even if he doesn't have a strong hand, he's probably still going to call and beat me. So it's kind of weird that he just like leads out on the king, because the king shouldn't have helped him that much. But I just gotta. Well, see, now I'm leveling myself. I mean, the only hand he could have is like 3-4 or King X overcards or King Jack. That's great. I'll make one hero call for the day. Oh, he backed in the flush. Yeah, I mean, he is representing a strong hand just because he doesn't really bet that often, and the king doesn't hit his range, and he's not capable of value betting thin. So when I thought about it, it definitely doesn't make sense. But I guess he did back into. He had a straight gut shot, straight draw that ended up backing into a flush, and so we now know that he bets half pot for value. And that's definitely good to know, because in the future we'll be more inclined to adjust him better. So I don't know. I don't think that call is that terrible, but I picked up some notes on him as well. And obviously I'm playing a little spewy just because these aren't my normal limits, and like I can get it all in for the size of a big blind. But it's fun, and it's a kind of more of a concept video, and I'm still up 2.5 buy-ins. So I threw about this guy for value to get it all in pre with jacks, and I get cold called in position by this other short stack, so I'm definitely just getting it all in with them if they get in a pre-flop like here. And hopefully the flop doesn't come like ace, king, jack or something. And I flop top set, so I'm going to let him stick all the money in. I'm not really afraid of giving him free cards, and he jams all in with one of the nuts. So there's a backdoor flush draw, and it whiffs. Cool. I win. So pretty hilarious. People cold calling like half their stack with pocket sevens and just jamming all in with second pair. Here, I don't know, just some random. So I'm gonna go ahead and 3-bet him with ace king. Probably just get it in pre-flop, even though it's 4-0 and people probably aren't getting it in worse than ace king and queens close. Even queens, I think, don't get it all in for stacks, but who knows? Every once in a while you get random spazzes. Pretty good flop for my hand. I'm going to go ahead, and you don't have to bet that big on these boards, so I'm just going to bet 60 cents. I mean, he's either going to have a hand that he wants to continue with or he's not. They're going to play very straightforward. So, I can just bet a straightforward amount, and then I end up flopping top pair, so let's go ahead and bet half pot here, and I'm obviously going to get it all in if he jams, and I river the nut flush, but it's a paired board. If he has a full house, good for him. He jams, and I call, and he has ace high. So good job, Mr. Fish. Here, pocket eights, super multi-way flop. I'm just going to call and hopefully hit a set. Just go ahead and fold it queen, queen. So I hit a set. I mean, flopping pretty well. Leading out is probably not that good of an idea here. I can just check and let this guy c-bet a lot and start building up a multi-way pot, and then I can come back for the raise. Or I don't even have to raise. I could probably just call. Try to get this other fish along as well. So this guy bets 22 cents. I mean, I could consider calling, but the thing is, when he makes it this small, I gotta pop it up. I can't let him get away with that. So let's go ahead and raise it to $1 here. Gotta get my values. And he just folds. I mean, there's too many draws and stuff. I can't let people come along for that price. Here I flop 2 overs and the second nut flush draw, so I'm going to be c-betting pretty big. I have a lot of fold equity, plus I have a lot of actual hand equity when called. So yeah, I mean, I'm flopping pretty well with sets. Like I got like 20 cents out of that one set, but I mean, other than that, like I'm pretty much playing straightforward. I'm up $16, 4 buy-ins in 41 minutes. So every 10 minutes I'm making a buy-in at this rate. But obviously I don't play 4NL every day, so I don't really have a large sample size to tell you exactly how much you could expect to make if you're a good or decent player. But just looking at the tables and how horrific people are, just getting it all in with king high and just goofy stuff, you could probably make, I don't know, I would say at least $4 an hour at these limits, just being a decent player. Which doesn't sound like much, but that's a buy-in. And as soon as you reach 10NL, you can go up to another buy-in an hour, which is $10. So ace 2 is kind of close. If I was on like the button, I'd definitely open it or limp it, depending on what I was trying to do. But I feel like with these players behind me, I don't really want to raise up ace deuce suited and be in a multi-way pot out of position. It just seems bad. So no harm in folding. Another option was possibly limping, but I just feel like folding is the safe thing to do. Here I am being safe for 4 cents when I call off king jack suited pre-flop when I'm not getting the great price and I know it. That's just kind of me making videos. LOL. So let's see here. Queen 9 offsuit. It's a little loose, but I think it's a hand that I can go ahead and isolate with. And notice how I don't isolate it as much this time just because my hand's weaker. Again, they're not noticing it. One of the big reasons why I'm isolating it is because it's heads up and I'm in the cutoff, and I'm essentially in the button because the guy to my left is a giant nit. So I think it's definitely profitable to go ahead and isolate here. And basically my intentions are to just take down the pot for pre-flop. First way of winning, and the second way of winning is flopping good hand. And the third way of winning is to flop blank boards and c-bet and make money when they fold. Or I can flop like this, where I have gut shots and some outs, and I get called once, and I'm just gonna go ahead and check turn just because he's never folding. Even if he has like queen jack or like ace jack or something, he's not folding. So I don't want to value bet myself against ace high or queen high. So I'm just gonna actually check and just get my free card. And unfortunately, I don't hit it, but that is fine. Hopefully he has jack 9 offsuit, and that's the one hand that I beat. But he goes ahead and pots it into me, so I just fold. Probably has a pretty strong hand there. I don't really believe in like tells online or even live, but I think that there is kind of like this little spider sense sort of thing on like timing tells. I don't know. I don't know how much truth there is to it, and I'm pretty analytical about poker, so I don't take that much weight to it. Like I don't fully believe it, but I have like a little, twitching thought in the back of my mind that I think some of it might be true. Because on this on that flop, like he hesitated a little bit, then called, and then on the river he like bet pot pretty fast. So I don't know. To me, that just seemed kind of strong. That could just be me, like my brain trying to make sense out of randomness. But when you play like 2.5 million hands, maybe there is some truth to it, where you start building up like little, patterns in your head that you may not even be conscious of. But I don't know how much of that's true, so maybe I'm just betting on my rear end. But yeah, I mean, I don't believe it. I'm not just gonna like do something crazy just because I feel it in the back of my mind or something stupid. But if it's a borderline decision and kind of like instinct or whatever, like I'll kind of go with my instinct. So I think there is such thing as instinct. I don't know what it's based off of, to be honest. Maybe it's timing tells, maybe it's something else. Who knows? But there is instinct there. Again, queen nine offsuit in the middle table. It's not the best spot ever, just because it's multi-way. But I was gonna say if no one raised, I was gonna still raise. But definitely, if there's a limp or a guy raise, I'm just gonna fold it now. So we've been going for about 45, 46 minutes now, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this session a little bit. I don't want it to be too long. This guy min raises, and I have 8-9. It's a multi-way flop with two of the biggest fish at the table, and I'm actually pretty deep with the pre-flop raiser, so I'm going to go ahead and call here. Fortunately, I don't really flop anything. It'd be nice to flop the nuts. Just stack a guy for like 200 or 300 big blinds or whatever. Well, not 300. That's bad at math. But over 200. This guy limps, so I'm going to go ahead and just mash the pot button with 10 jack offsuit. It's pretty much any two broadways in position. So they both check, and so now I think I can go ahead and stab here. I'm going to stab kind of big, just so I don't get like ridiculous calls with like 10 or ace high or something. But usually when the pre-flop raiser doesn't see about that board, and then the guy that saw that no one see about that board goes ahead and just checks again, it's probably a good indication that no one has it. And it's kind of advanced play. I don't want to say advanced, but if you've been told that before, or you've played long enough to kind of notice that, that's definitely one of those spots where you can make a ton of money. Here's another spot again where I just have two broadways. I'm just going to be isolating this guy. He just keeps limping, so I'm going to keep trying to exploit him. This guy makes this really tiny 3-bet, and he never raises or 3-bets, so I'm actually going to flat here. 16 cents to win $3 when I hit. Plus, I flop sets all the time, as this video proves. So I call and I don't hit a set. So obviously the law of averages. I'm destined not to hit sets. Hopefully he checks and I can just get a free card and hit my straight though. But he bets, so I'm just going to fold. Here with the queen jack, like I was gonna see about this flop like half pot, but he leads into me, and I don't really want to like multi-way. Go ahead and just push this up here, and then or pump it up. Just put in a bunch of money and get called like 2 spots. I'm just actually gonna fold. I think calling is kind of bad. I don't really have that much equity to anything except for like backdoor running jacks or something, but even if like the jack of diamonds comes out, then I'm still not happy with my hand. So I just go ahead and give that up, and at least I can hopefully see what one of them has. So the one guy has king high, and the other guy has bottom pair. So I don't really know if my raise would get him to fold, to be honest. I mean, if he's playing 9 deuce offsuit to begin with, he's probably not going to be folding to like a raise. He's looking to hit a flop, and when he hits a flop, he kind of wants to like see turns and stuff like that. When fish want to see a lot of hands, they don't like to fold. That's the whole point of seeing a lot of hands, is to see if you can continue and keep going and improving your hand. It's not to like call and then give up when someone raises. But definitely, if I was heads up and had a little more equity than that, I would definitely just go ahead and pop them up there as a bluff. But it was multi-way, and I had pretty much zero equity when called, so I just gave up, and I think that's fine. Here I have bottom pair and multi-pot. I'm just gonna like if everyone bets, I'm just gonna give up. But hopefully, I see some free cards or potentially showdown. Pocket deuces in position to an ISO raiser. Definitely call for value. Oh, I put up a 10 and L table, so that's why his bet sizes seem a little big. Did I say call for value with twos? I don't know. But I'm calling to set mine. I raise ace queen for value. It's a little late, so if I'm speaking random gibberish, just try to ignore that. And of course, don't hit a set, so I just give up, even though the bet size was pretty small. I'll try to get one more hand and then wrap it up. I mean, we're getting close to an hour now, so I don't really want to waste your guys' time. And if you guys do want to see more, I'm going to be producing more. Also, you can check out my site nitreg.com. I got a lot of this. Got a lot of like articles, strategy articles. I have a full-on guide of just like how to beat the game for free. So check that out. I stream live all the time, so if you want to see me do this live, you can. If you want to see my recordings, you can see them on YouTube. If you want to follow me on Twitter, go to twitter.com/nitregpoker. That's all one word. There's all sorts of cool options for you guys, and I'm making this site for you guys, and really hope you guys like it. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and I'm doing school right now, so I don't have as much time as I would like to put into it, but I'm still putting a decent amount of time into it. And, there's a lot of content on there that you guys can check out, even if I'm it's a few days of me not posting or whatever. So check it out and let me know what you think, and feel free to sign up for the ebook if you guys enjoy it and like this sort of thing. So I'll play those pocket six hands and we'll wrap it up. So I guess like I've only played 4-0 for 2 sessions, but over those 2 sessions I'm up $30 over like 2 hours. So I'll play another hand other than sixes, which is kind of insane. Let me check this out here on my Hold'em Manager 2. Winning at 74 big blinds per 100 over 1,000 hands, which it's 1,000 hands, so LOL. That doesn't really mean anything, but I don't know. I feel like I can crush this limit, so I wonder if I should try to do some sort of challenge or something, or like some sort of prop bet where if I get it, then something happens, or if I don't get it, then I'll give away something or give up something or whatever. But I think that'd be kind of fun, especially for the players that play these limits. So I don't know. That's just something to think about for the future. Maybe I try to get in like, I don't know, 50,000 hands of 4-0 in a month or something. Or try to play 20,000 hands of 4-0 in a month with a win rate over 14 big blinds per 100. I definitely think that's possible, by the way. I have fives here and just kind of like check through on a limp pot. Everyone checks, so I'm actually just going to stab like half pot. Hopefully get called by ace high here and get a little bit of value. It's kind of thin, but it's for thin value, and it also clears out the field a bit. So if people have like Jack 7, I don't get sucked out on by like a 7 or something. Ace Queen in the top right. This flop kind of sucks. I'm just going to check it here. Unfortunately, an ace falls on the river, and that was like the one hand that I was trying to get value from. So I'm actually just going to check fold here. Pretty sure right odds has a boat. Well, maybe not. He has king high. Interesting. So got more value from that hand than I thought on the turn. Interesting spot with ace king. I mean, you can definitely 3-bet here. I'll just go ahead and call. I think a majority of his hands aren't going to get too out of line post flop, and also I don't want to be out of position post flop. I'd rather just kind of call and then raise and own someone when an ace or a king falls. This guy donks out, min donks out, and I have 2 overcards. I'm just gonna go ahead and call here. I feel like if I had an ace or a king, my hand's probably good. Now he goes ahead and bets a little bigger. I'm just gonna fold now. So let me just go ahead and play this ace's hand, and I'll quit. I mean, I keep forgetting that I'm saying that I'm going to quit, but whatever. 1-800-GAMBLER. So I see bet here with the king queen hand on the top middle table, and he calls, and I end up hitting top pair. So I'm going to go ahead and see bet again pretty big. Here, since it's multi-way and there's a lot of people in the pot, including a fish, I'm just going to go ahead and 3-bet ace king for value. So the original guy folds and then the other fish folds. So while I have a chance, I'm going to go ahead and quit. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, check out neighborregg.com. Be sure to check out the ebook that I worked so hard to put out for you guys. It's like 50 pages long, something like that, but it's just filled with content and filled with good stuff. Like, I don't fluff it up at all. I literally put in just what you need to know to be able to crush. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you're on YouTube, be sure to click subscribe. All right, peace, guys.